Alright, let's try that, shall we? I've only been doing this for how long? Alright, let's try that, shall we? I've only So, oops. Shields up, Captain, she's backing up. Hey Lander and History Buff, how are you, bud? Welcome to the stream, mate. Hey Enormous Chopper, how are you, my friend? Yeah, that's what it's about, mate. It's about immersing everyone into the environment that we're fishing in, Chopper, you know. We've got some beautiful scenery here in WA. Still nice, not as nice as the snow in Finland, I guess, but anyway, we've got our own little merits. So the only thing that I know about snow is never eat yellow snow, Enormous Chopper. Should I say will? Alright, Will, no worries, mate. Thanks for coming in and watching the content, everyone. Now look, what it is, people, okay? Rightio, so what we've got here is this is going to be really difficult fly fishing tonight because I've got a wind that's blowing across me. I've got trees behind me, okay? And yeah, it's just going to be tough, but this is the best way to improve your casting because you can't make any mistakes, you know. Oh well, someone bought a chook chaser for Christmas, and what I've done is I've put the camera on the wide angle. Hopefully you can see the casting, okay? So what we're going to do is just continue with the same fly from yesterday. We brought the 10 weight out, and with the 10 weight we're just going to see how we go. With the 10 weight I've got no dramas. What are you on about, Harry? So with a 10 weight you can push into winds like this, and this spot that we're fishing here is very hit and miss, okay, so come on out, you come, don't do that, come on. How did that get wrapped up in there? Okay. Rowie, how are you, bud? Welcome to the stream. Harry, how are you, mate? Okay, we're going to use the same fly as yesterday. Going to have to go into the water a bit tonight. So this is going to be a no water, sorry, it's going to be a no phone zone, if you know where I'm coming from. Now I have had a lot of surface disturbances here tonight. So there's been mullet getting chased to the shore. I don't know whether that was by Mulloway or Taylor. But anyway, we'll see how we go. This is a nice time. If we're going to get a fish, we'll get one in the next 45 minutes. Then after tonight, it's going to be a bit difficult. So we'll just have a break for a while and we'll do some gardening content. Okay, let's just chuck that in there. Turned on the headlamp again. I love wasting that headlamp, I think. There we go. Alright, now, where's me flies? Here we are. Oh, what are you doing? Where's that garbage? Thanks to the 14 viewers that have tuned in already. Alright, if there was one fly that I'd use to fish waters in Western Australia, it's this whitebait copy that I tie. It's had a lot of success over the years, but you know, trends change, I guess, so. Now, nope, I'm going to have to get some fresh leader. This one's got a blemish in it. That's one thing that you can't, muck around with on your fishing, fam. If you've got a leader that's got a little bit of damage, just swap it out, because that's when you'll hook into the fish of a lifetime, and then you'll regret not swapping it out, okay? So in a perfect world, we'll get a fish in, I don't know, 5 to 10 casts, but in reality we may just end up practicing our casting, you know. Alright, let's just chuck that there. Will, what's been going on with you, mate? You good? Fly fishing is a very hard form of fishing, people, but we're not afraid to fail on here, you know. So, ooh, that's salty, Jesus, from the water last night. Beautiful, there we go. Correctly spaced. Dun, 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 ba, ba, ba. Ah, yeah, great. I got that through. My eyesight lets me down. Beautiful. Loey, how's your day been, bud? I haven't heard from you in ages. No, we need to do a few improvements on this fly. Alright, so that's 6 foot. That's about 7 foot. Oh, we're leading into a half moon. Oh, I need a big loop on this. Hang on, people, I'm just going to do the loop-to-loop connection. Oh, good work, mate. Do you see that just in front of me there? See all these fish? See that? That's exactly why we're here, people. This is actually the boating channel, and that's exactly what we want to happen. We want the fish to get pushed into shore. and what it'll do is it'll trigger off that instinct, you know. Great. I don't know whether you just saw that behind me, but anyway, we're going to figure it out in a minute. All right. All right. Let's get this fly on. I think the next flies I'm going to tie are going to be grey and white. I think with a little bit of I might even put a bit of silver in them. Now this is the age-old debate, you know, do fish see colour? I don't think anyone cares. They just want fisher persons to see colour, if you know what I mean. All right, let's see what we got here. If you see a fin, let me know, eh? We don't need to cast too far because it's about 6 feet deep in the middle at this time of the tide. Right, so let's just see what's happening here. But this is really going to test our casting out. It's actually going to test my phones out if I drop them as well, you know. One of the worst things in fly fishing is later on in the day, when you've been fishing all day, and then you have a big fish follow your fly into your feet, and it like tickles its nose with the tail of the fly and doesn't actually hit it. So that's okay. I'll show you what I've got to contend with on the back cast in a minute. I've got all like brushes and bushes here. What I'm doing is I'm using what's known as a pile cast. So instead of going right the way back, I'm going to just shy of just allowing a little bit of movement to send the fly line just shy of about 75 degrees in the air, and then as it's moving I adjust my forward cast to strip the line through the guides as I put the power curve on, and then that way it just allows us to cast, because otherwise we'll get snagged every time. So what happens is the leader goes up, the fly turns over, and when it gets to here it then proceeds to go forward, because if you let it turn over and you make one mistake and it goes a little bit too far, then it'll get snagged behind us. And it's going to be hard enough. If we do catch one in here, it's going to be quite tough because you've got a lot of snags in that. Gotta love bow waves, or bow waves as they're called. This is not a bad thing, because what it does is it stirs the bottom up. Actually, I know what we can do here, Famo. Just going to cast along this snag here. There we go. That was a bit of an average cast, but I had to check that on my forward cast to get it underneath the snags. So a good place to try and catch fish is underneath the canopy line on trees. And we've got an old river gum here that's fallen over but still growing. So let's bring this down a bit here. It's a good action. Beautiful. Okay. Going too far forward there, but I'll work that out. And if you ever see a bait explosion on the surface, just plonk your fly right in the middle of it, okay? Okay, let's go out here again. That's not a good cast because the fly line hit first. Hey Jack, how are you, bud? Welcome to the stream, mate. Yeah, matey, when you live stream fishing, it's not about how many fish you catch, mate. It's about, you know, interacting with the community. In actual fact, how many fish you catch is probably the least important part of the stream, you know, because that's one thing you can't guarantee. And with fly fishing, out of all the fly fishing types, whether it's bait, lure, soft plastic, which is technically a lure anyway, fly fishing you do tend to catch the least number of fish. But in saying that, you do have your odd red letter days, okay? And, you know, when they do come along, you enjoy them. So this is not a very healthy river though, with the population around the river and the activity that's on the river. There's a lot of pollution and fish numbers are right down. So, you know, it's just how it goes, Cobb, you know what I mean? But if you can catch fish here, it's the same old story, bud. You can catch fish anywhere. That hit the branch behind. Oh dear. Rightio. That's the soreness and fatigue setting in again, mate. What a beautiful way to end the day, people, you know what I mean? Like, just nice to be out here amongst nature. You know what I mean? We've got a few too many cars, but that's something that we can't control. Done it again. Hang on. Yeah, I showed the tying of the fly the other day, 3G, okay? So I'll do another fly tying stream and show you then, mate. Okay? We don't have that much light left today, mate, so I want to try and get as many casts in as I can. All right, people, just over in the distance there, we just had something sip something of the service. Here we go. Just in front of us here, some fish that have also come up. Hey, Jono, no, this is a, oh, hello. Oh, this is an edge fly rod, which is made by Gary Loomis, but it's not a G Loomis rod because Shimano bought the name for that. People, we've just had a huge sort of surface commotion here. Just going to get myself a bit more width, right? Hang on, I've got to get a cast out. Perfect. Well done, mate. You got new tyres for Christmas, bud. Burnouts is such a... Ugh. Anyway. Just keep an eye on this section here behind me, people. We seem to be getting a lot of fish getting chased up to the edge from the channel here, right? But the biggest commotion I've seen on the surface has been underneath this tree. So... the only problem is I've hooked mulloway here before and I've hooked some big ones and I've always lost them underneath that snag over there, right? But that's survival and they don't get big by being dumb, you know what I mean? Right. That was a terrible cast again, but it may still well get fish. All right. Let's try a slower retrieve, famo. We'll go back to the figure of 8. And look, when you fly fish for mulloway and that sort of stuff, people, it's a labour of love. I could go up north and hook into them a lot easier than down here, but I'm not up north, you know, and this is our backyard. So like I said, when I come out here to fly fish, you hone the craft, okay? And then when you hone the craft and you do get to a spot where you can fish for them, it just makes life easier. Oh, the tide's going out again. Oi. There we go. This is really good to be in such cramped environment because when we have space either in the kayak or from the shore later, right? Oh, hey, Dolly Socks. Mate, Dolly, thanks for the 500 bits, mate, but you don't have to do that, bud. All right? I appreciate it, and when I give bits to you, I don't expect anything back, mate, you know? But thank you very much, okay? I'd hate to think you're taking that out of the Nacho Pants retirement fund, you know what I mean? So... I mean, let's face it. All right, fly went first, then beauty. You'd want to fix the bearings on your trailer. What a beautiful air. How have you been, Dolly Socks? How's good old Taswegia going, mate? Little mullet shot in front. Alright, that's a better cast. We've got about, I'd say, 70 feet of fly line out here, people. That's in the channel there, so we're good. We don't need to worry about it, okay? Whoa! I don't know whether that was in field of view, but so I'm hoping there's no flipping bull sharks here, you know? In Hobart, okay. Oh, nice one. Managed to hook a decent flatty last week. 36 centimetre. Nice one, mate. Congratulations. Hey there, Whitey. No, bud, we didn't, mate. So, although a heap of people came down and we got 10 extra subscribers on YouTube, which was good. So even though we didn't catch fish, we managed to grow the channel, you know. Alright, fly turned over beautifully. It's really difficult in here because where I'm standing, my feet are about, I would say, a good 5 feet lower than the edge of the bank there. And then I've got trees that are about 8 feet high on top. So what I'm doing is, as I'm back casting, I'm pile casting into the air, and then as I forward cast, I up and turn over. And what it does is it causes the fly line to turn over that way, so the fly doesn't duck under and hit the trees. So it's a very confined space, you know. Nice one, 3G. Well, I hope you get the fish of a lifetime, bud. Mate, you're in Queensland. You should be able to catch a mulloway every cast over there, bud. It's not like here. We have a very poor biomass of fish in a lot of our rivers. In the old days, this inlet used to have 40 professional fishers that used to fish it, and now there's only one. So they changed the inlet to it, and all that happened is when they did that, it silted the inlet up and it became quite shallow, because in the old days it was quite deep. So, I mean, the east coast of Australia with your dusky flathead and all that sort of stuff, you know, and I don't know whether you can see the wind ripples on the surface. I've got a howling wind as well, so, you know, blowing directly across. So it's all good, because when we go back and have decent conditions next year, right, we'll be able to fish to our heart's content. But the tide has already changed, which is not good. That was a horrible cast. Again. Fishing for mulloway with fly gear is a lot easier when over the top of them, because you can use different flies. What I'm using here, and like I said, early in the season the bait fish are quite small. The fly that I'm using is probably a bit big for this time of year, so when I go back to the vise next week, we'll get some more flies tied in a slightly smaller size. I mean, you look at tuna and that sort of stuff. Tuna are very picky eaters. And when we were out on the game boats at Rottnest, one of the guys caught this tuna one day that spewed up all these little bait fish, and they were all about 22 millimetres long. And we went, hang on a minute. When we measured them, every single one was 22 metres long, you know. There we go. It's all yours, son. Eat it. Come on. Nicely done. Yeah, the tide's changed, Famo. They said that it wouldn't... Oh no, they said it wouldn't change for another 15 minutes, but it's already changed. 163, that's not good. Oh, it's because of this. No, I bet you if I do that, it drops considerably. Hang on, I'm just going to retrieve right-handed for the first time in 20 years. Yeah, you always need to strike, Loey. Yeah, just all in good time, Dolly Socks, you know. It's a bit different to your normal conventional fishing, Dolly, because you're not casting the weight of the fly because they weigh nothing. And once you get the hang of it, but, you know, it does present difficulties, if you know what I mean. My heart's not beating at 141 beats per minute. Stupid watch. No, don't do that. Here they are. Yep. I've just cast over there and the fish are over here. Yeah. I'll show you a little trick, Dolly Socks. With fly fishing, depending on what system you use, you always need roughly the same amount of space behind you as you have in front of you. Right, so let me show you something. And once you get your casting sorted, you don't really need to face the way that you're casting, and I'll show you what I mean by that. This 10 weight, okay, let's bring this back here, and always keep a lookout on the corner of your eye. There we go. Oh, have a look at that, fam. Have a look at the you can see the camera, but have a look at the shot. Problem is, back in the 90s and early 2000, there was a much bigger biomass of fish across the board. So, you know, I remember as a kid going down to some spots down south where the professional fishermen were, and they'd have piles of mulloway, some of them up to 100 pound, that they were selling off as pet food. You know, nowadays you think back and think, look at the damage they would have done with that, you know, and they can't spawn as fast as people are taking them out of the ocean, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shift the camera. Right, we'll get a little bit more of a close-up. Tasman 81, how are you, bud? 3G, show us your cardiologist qualifications, bud, because I just did my pulse and it was normal. It's just this watch, mate. Every time you move it, it makes it going stupid. I always breathe heavy, mate. So, right. Okay. So what we'll do here, right, we'll just get that in there. Thanks for the 42 viewers that are in here, people. Rightio. Now, Let me show you the one main advantage of fly fishing that lure fishing, soft plastic fishing doesn't have, right? So, what I'm going to do, okay, so see this? If I'm retrieving line like this, right, and behind where I think the fly is, 10 or 20 feet, if I see a fish come up in the surface column, I can lift my line and cast it out to where the fish is. You can't do that with lures, you can't do that with soft plastics, you know? So, right, all good. Now, effectively, nice. Terrible cast though, it went belly first. But you got to be careful because sometimes when you turn the fly over, right, yeah, it's about 60 beats per minute. I just checked it on here like I did before with the old counting in the head. All right, probably got about 4K. Want a bit of friendly advice, bud? The Australian IRL section is screaming out for a female live fishing streamer, bud. And if you do the content for the sake of fishing, right, you'll do very well out of it, bud, okay? I'd even do Battle of the Sexes or something with nacho pants and just outfish him live on stream. That's what he signed up for. So, yeah, that's right. Right. Right, I'm just going to come out a little bit more. Right, that's better. Now we can do it. That was the cast. Did you hear the line slap through the guides then? If you could clip that one for us, Lowie, that'd be greatly appreciated for the full minute from now. Right. Okay. In the time with fly casting, you can turn most casts into good casts, you know. So they're all behind us in way close. Oh dear. I've got a fishing stream planned, people, in the Yak over about 3 days. I've just got to make the 3 days to do it. So there's going to be a lot of night fishing in it on the kayak, but I've just got to get everything sorted, you know. Right. Great. I nearly had it spot on and it just clipped one leaf on the way through. All right, well the tide's changed, so our fishing is over, famo. Okay? So yeah, as soon as the tide starts going back out to the ocean again, we're buggered. All right. Right. Tell you what, people, so glad I got these edge fly rods. They just suit my casting perfectly. All right. Well, 3G, you need to figure that out for yourself, bud. I'm in Western Australia, you're in Queensland. Two totally different oceans, two totally different temperatures, totally different tide movement, same moon phase, and all the rest of it, mate. So you just got to figure that out for yourself, bud. Right? And I wouldn't know how you fish over there. I mean, I've been over there to Kagari before, or Fraser as it was known then, right? So, you know, that's all good, but I couldn't comment or give you any advice, mate, because we're at the opposite ends of the country. And I mean, we don't have dusky flathead here, you do. So, man, I wish we had dusky flatheads here. We'd have no fish left though. So, you know what I mean? And yeah, so you're probably better off just speaking to your local fly fishing club, right? And you know, getting information from there, mate, because they'll be in the know, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it'd be a bit of an insult to you if I tried to give you advice from WA, bud, right? Because it's not my place to comment, mate. You know, I didn't fly fish Queensland when I was there, so if I haven't fly fished, I can't really give you any advice, bud. You know, you may have a different coloured water there than here. The other thing is too, I'm fishing in a river, so when you fish in a river, it's a totally different situation to fishing the ocean. So, you know, I mean, yeah, I wouldn't insult anyone by trying to give advice, mate, you know. And it's all relative to location as well. So the types of flies and the colours of flies that I use here would probably get laughed at over east, mate. So you've just got to try and find people that fly fish so that you can, you know, get the information off them, bud. So, all right, well, just give me a second. I'll just put this away, then we'll throw out a raid. Yeah, just do what you have to do, mate, you know. I mean, you've got members of your fly fishing club that don't fish for mulloway. When mulloway are on the bite with the fly, mate, you'll catch more fish on mulloway with fly than you will with anything else, 3G. You just got to figure it out, mate. You know, the old match the hatch equivalent in freshwater, bud. All right, people, let's see who's live. Okay, well, just give me a second. Please stick around. Okay, Brave Stars live. I don't know who that is. What's a crip? Huh? That's an ad. Thanks for that. Oh dear. Alright, hang on a second, fam. Brave Star 160. Alright, people, we're going to throw out a raid to Brave Star 160. Alright people, we're going to throw a raid out to a German streamer that's I think fishing in the Netherlands at the moment. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you very much to everyone that's followed today. Okay, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing for free on YouTube. Okay, alright, stay safe, stay well, be the best person you can be every day. Keep being awesome, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Neuer Brotaufstich für Flo. Australia, my friend. Hello, welcome in Germany. I hope you had a nice stream.